Okay, so let me tell you. See, funnel क्या होती है? How many have seen that पेट्रोल वाला वो funnel top देखा है ऐसा वाला? Have you seen? Have you seen that there is a funnel that you make? Funnel basically means the biggest problem with a funnel is the amount of users you acquire, you get some percentage of users. It's not driving sustainable growth for you. What I mean by that is that जितने तुम यहां से पैसा लगाओगे उतना पैसा आएगा. Arti, for you, how much money users you acquire through money, you make certain percentage of money from that. And it is not scalable because you have to increase your marketing again and again to a point that eventually your marketing also has some sum of throughput, right? It is eventually going to get saturated. So funnel is not really good, right? Funnels are good way of looking at data, but doesn't necessarily mean it is the right way of driving growth. Right, it is not predictable and repeatable, absolutely, right? So instead we look at loops. What is a loop now? What do you mean by a loop? This is the paid engine of growth. It is actually a funnel. It's not a loop. I've made it as a loop, but it is very wrong. This is not the structure that all of you product managers should accord to. Pay to acquire new users, monetize those users, reinvest profits, and do it again and again, right? It's a funnel, right? It's not going to be optimal for you. Yes, a loop is something that is repeatable, right? This is the viral engine of loop. Up, just stay here for like 10 seconds and understand what it's saying. What did you understand this? What did you understand from this viral engine of loop of growth? Users are acquired through some money, but each new user invites n new users, right? Which convert to invites, and then your acquisition is sorted, right? Yes, correct. Now, can you give me an example of virality? Can you give me an example of virality? Can you tell me what is the example of virality? यस भाई, मेरे चैनल को भी रेफर कर दो. मेक इट वायरल. Yes, so think of it like this. I gave you the Kickstarter example, right? What is a Kickstarter mein what is happening? You come as an investor, you invest in a campaign, you call your friends, and then eventually what happens, you also start doing campaigns as part of it. Now, for a company like Kickstarter, what are the two elements that has to happen, right? One is that you invest in campaigns. Second is that you start campaigns. Now, once you invest in campaigns, right, and you're inviting other people, those people also realize the value of Kickstarter and they can start campaigns. So more campaigns, more investing, more campaigns. It's a loop. Did you understand that? Right? Like for Kickstarter, it's a fundamental loop, right? Mayank came on the website, paid $10 for a keto campaign, right? Realizes that, oh wow, it's a great place for me to start campaigns because tomorrow if I need help, he invites 5 of his friends, they also pay, they start a campaign. Once they start campaign, they acquire more users, they bring more users, and it goes on a loop. It's sustainably growing, right? So every added user, right, has effectively two spokes. He participates as a consumer, he also becomes a creator, doing loops. Now the next question to you guys is, does every company have a loop? What are the edge cases where we cannot build a loop? So you understood, loops are better than funnels, right? Now I'm asking a very simple question. What is the case in which a product cannot form a loop? Yes, that's not. That's exactly what I'm saying. But what is the case with, yeah, what are the edge cases where loops are not possible? Yep, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead. Go ahead, guys. Not really. ऐसा नहीं होता. Like, why do you say B2B product doesn't form a loop? Not really. नहीं, नहीं, Orchid, Google are examples. I am asking fundamental question where there is not possible to create a loop. Again, can you go deeper, guys? What are the places where you can't create a loop? Yep, absolutely. You can write anything. You can write anything. Don't be shy. Yep. What are the cases where we can't? No, the place that you cannot file a loop is that when the market is clustered with similar proposition products, like Uber was not able to create a sustainable free referral program. It didn't work for them because there was another competitor which was almost providing the similar value, held similar market share, and hence they couldn't form a loop. Amazon couldn't form a loop. Why are they paying cashbacks? Do you think they don't understand how loops work? Right? The point is when there is not a sustainable differentiator in your product value, it is difficult to form a loop. Understood? Yes, Swiggy and Zomato, they don't have loops, right? Difficult to build loops, right? So either your product is monopolistic product, then you can form a loop, or you have some sustained differentiation of value which is not another product is giving, and it forms a loop. Or there is one more edge case, which is if your business model supports loop forming. Now what is the example of that? Somebody gave a very good example just some time back. A very interesting part is all creator led economies are loops. Like YouTube is a loop. Again, Clubhouse is a loop. Clubhouse is a loop. Do you think Clubhouse is a loop? Do you think, guys, Clubhouse is a loop? Yes, राधे नेश ने काफी सही बोला है. Yes, yes, Clubhouse is a loop. Absolutely. So you can participate anywhere. Yes, it's a loop. Amazing, 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 guys. Now, what is the sticky engine of group of growth? Yes. What is the Mayank? Why do you say Clubhouse is not a loop? Anyways, let's move forward for the sake of time, right? So, what is the sticky engine of growth? You acquire new customers, users stick around, your acquisition is far more greater than your churn. So this is the case of retention, but not virality, right? So three states: paid engine, the worst form, right? Viral engine, the best form. Sticky engine is where 80% of the startups want to be. This is very rare. This is almost everywhere. This is where the startups want to be, the sticky engine, because they know this is difficult to create, right? So sticky engine is when your acquisition is greater than your churn, so your users are sticking, right? Yes. So the sticky engine of growth, understood. The first part, the paid engine, is where everyone is. Not a good model. The second one is the viral engine, which is extremely amazing. And third one is sticky engine, where most of the companies want to be. Make sense? Make sense? Everybody aligned with me, guys? Awesome. Awesome. So, Eric Ries, who has heard of Eric Ries, by the way? Who has heard of Eric Ries? Okay, Gidditi has heard of Eric Ries. Shahrukh has heard. Yes, lean startup. Right, right, right. So Eric spoke about these three interesting pieces, right? The first is stickiness. Stickiness basically the approach is keep people coming back. What is the math that matters? Get customers faster than you lose them. Nahin, Arti, Eric Ries was the founder of the lean startup movement. He wrote a very nice book, which I also recommend all of you guys to read. It is The Lean Startup. It's an amazing book. So he gave three fundamental parts to it. One, there's stickiness in a growth engine, that you get customers faster than you lose them, right? That's the math that matters. Second, virality. Make people invite friends. It's not about making people invite friends. It's about they automatically do. How many they tell, how fast they tell them, all of that. And the third part is price. Spend money to get customers. Customers are worth more than they cost. This is what. So all three parts. One, your acquisition is greater than your churn. Second, your virality coefficient is greater than 1. Virality coefficient, again repeating this, means how many customers effectively add other people who become customers. So if your virality coefficient is greater than 1, which basically means every one user is bringing 2 users or 3 users or 4 users on the platform, and if it's greater than 1, then it's amazing, right? So logically every one user is bringing more than one customer to you, right? So that's the virality part. And the third part is your LTV should always be greater than your CAC. How many of you guys understand what's LTV and what's CAC? How many of you understand this? LTV basically means lifetime value. Yes, understood. Lifetime value. Lifetime value basically means in a particular business model, when you typically know that for, acha, how do you define lifetime value for Swiggy? Will it be, what is the lifetime value of a user? Or for a car company, how will it differentiate? Let's assume for a company like Cars 24, what's going to be the LTV of the user? What is going to be the LTV? Differentiate between two companies. Tell me, for a company like Cars 24, what is the typical LTV of a user? बोलना आसान है कि LTV पता है मुझे. Yep, versus Swiggy, बता दो. Yes. Total transaction is a separate thing. I want it from a logical standpoint. What do you mean by LTV here? At what duration will you measure the LTV? एक चीज तो मेरे को समझ में नहीं आती. मैं whenever I speak about metrics, why do you put the same metrics which I am speaking? Yes, absolutely, Ashish. So for a company like Cars 24, you cannot measure monthly or 6 monthly. It's going to be 4 years. So their LTV can be, if a user, what is the repeat cycle on which he purchases another car from them? Yes, in for for a company like Swiggy, it can, LTV can be measured based on when he starts off, not, or typically when the customer is lost, right? It can be in the vicinity of months, right? In the vicinity of months. Yes, and years for cars. Absolutely, bilkul. You're absolutely right, Diti. Because LTV basically means at what point your customer is lost. So you typically on an average know that, okay, if I acquire a customer who is activated, it 6 months he transacts on the platform, then he gets lost. Right? For Cars 24, they don't expect these kind of transactions. They typically see, okay, my LTV would be probably at a cycle of 4 years or 5 years. Right? Awesome.